let's look a little closer at the interesting and multidimensional figure of the Queen of Sheba, giving further historical background, cultural context, and legends that have survived for millennia. Conventionally, the kingdom of the Queen of Sheba is related to a lot of wealth, strategic significance, and cultural prestige. On the other hand, historians, archaeologists, and scholars have debated for centuries about the exact geographical location of Sheba. Thus, there were suggested two major theories concerning the place of her kingdom. According to Ethiopian tradition, the Queen of Sheba ruled the ancient kingdom of Aksum, which became one of the most powerful and prosperous empires in Africa. Aksum is located in modern northern Ethiopia and Eritrea. That monarchy, known for its monumental stelae and obelisks, among other things, and the Church of St. Mary of Zion, said to be the repository in Ethiopian tradition for the Ark of the Covenant, traditionally had close trade routes to Egypt, Arabia, and even India. It was one power that flowered in the first millennium CE, whose control of those key trade routes for gold, incense, and spices it was believed brought the queen all her wealth. In Arabian tradition, the land of Sheba is placed in modern Yemen, precisely the ancient city of Marib, which was the capital of the kingdom of Saba or Sabea. The land of Saba was a significant center of trade with frankincense, myrrh, and other aromatic resins, highly valued by the ancient civilizations of Egypt and Mesopotamia. The Arabian kingdom was famous for its huge feats of engineering, such as the Marib Dam, which allowed for the cultivation of a great amount of agricultural land that would otherwise have been desert. The ruins of the Sabaean civilization continue to be a significant archaeological interest today. While these geographical theories differ, both regions are considered by scholars to have played an integral part in the ancient world, each with lucrative trade networks bringing both wealth and political influence within reach. The meeting between the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon is one of the most famous diplomatic meetings in ancient history. According to both biblical and Islamic sources, the Queen traveled a long distance, likely over hundreds of miles, across deserts and through mountains to meet Solomon in Jerusalem. This journey symbolizes the Queen's strength as a monarch, who was not only ruling her people, but was also strategically aligned with key regional powers. According to the Bible, the Queen of Sheba came to Jerusalem in 1 Kings 10, 1-13 with a great retinue and regaled Solomon with gifts of gold, spices, and precious stones. She tested Solomon with hard questions, interested in his wisdom, and was thoroughly impressed by the answers. She declared that the half of his wisdom and wealth that she had heard did not do justice to his greatness. This is portrayed as an intellectual and even material exchange between two mighty rulers, solidifying Solomon as the wise king, a leader among the great of the world. In the tradition of Islam, the Queen of Sheba, named Bilqis in Surah 27, 38-40 of the Holy Quran, is depicted to be resistant against the call of Solomon for submission to the one God, and at a later instance, to attest to his wisdom given by Allah, and thus, to submission. The Quran notices also her wisdom in turning to her counsel for advice regarding a course of action and her ultimate recognition of Solomon's power, as well as the veracity of his message. In both traditions, therefore, the Queen of Sheba is a representation of a wise and politically astute sovereign, while Solomon represents a king divinely endowed with wisdom. The riches of the Queen of Sheba are legendary. The greatness of her court has been stressed alike by ancient tradition and later traditions. Traditionally, her realm was a place of great wealth, especially gold, spices, incense, and other important resources. That the queen showered Solomon with such rich presents underscores the relative prosperity of her kingdom and illustrates an important reality of the ancient world, the importance of international trade. The Bible characterizes the presents brought by the queen to Solomon as exceedingly great. She brought many kilograms of gold, many precious stones, and much frankincense, all products of the large trading network of her kingdom. A key player in the spice trade, particularly of frankincense and myrrh, high in demand across the ancient world for religious rites and perfume making, Ge'ez-speaking Sheba was situated on a strategic spot between Africa and the Arabian Peninsula. With the queen in possession of such valuable items of trade, it could only mean one thing for her kingdom: immense wealth. The trade routes through Sheba afforded not just the exchange of things like gold and incense, but an exchange of culture, knowledge, and ideas between the ancient civilizations of Africa, the Arabian Peninsula, and the Mediterranean world. These trading networks indeed brought great power and influence to the kingdom of Sheba, and the queen used her own wealth and possessions during her diplomatic negotiations, as can be seen from her meeting with Solomon. At any rate, some of the more critical elements that relate to this Ethiopian lore and tradition concerning the Queen of Sheba include stories of her son, Menelik I, whose father was described as King Solomon. According to the Kebra Nagast, a 14th-century Ethiopian text, the first emperor of Ethiopia is Menelik I, and the source of the Solomonic dynasty that ruled the nation for well over 2,000 years up until recent times in the late 20th century. The Kebra Nagast narrates that Menelik I, on coming of age, went to Jerusalem to meet his father Solomon. He is said to have taken the Ark of the Covenant back with him to Ethiopia on his arrival, a place where it purportedly remains up to date, in the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Axum, Ethiopia. This story ties the Solomonic dynasty to both the biblical figure of Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, strengthening Ethiopia's identity as a Christian nation with a divine and royal lineage. The legend of Menelik I's establishment of the Solomonic dynasty serves as a central foundation of Ethiopian national identity and its connection to biblical traditions, particularly the belief that Ethiopia holds a unique and sacred link to the biblical heritage. As a ruler, the Queen of Sheba was not just a political figurehead, but also a masterful diplomat. She knew the use of alliances and tried to forge a relationship with Solomon to safeguard her kingdom's interests. This visit of hers to Solomon has been seen as not merely a diplomatic mission, but rather also a way by which Sheba sought to gather knowledge about other great empires, including, of course, the wisdom in administration and upkeep of wealth by Solomon. The Queen of Sheba stands out as the embodiment of great political insight and sovereignty, the epitome of the urbane and pragmatic in the control and administration of empire. It reflects a sense that she is depicted as one deeply involved with contemporary intellectual and political debate, and is a ruling queen who utilized intelligence to secure the safety of her people and promote her own circle of influence within the Middle Eastern world. This is a widely received relationship of a union of wisdom and power, the Queen of Sheba with Solomon. Still, probably diplomatic interaction between both persons was included into later literary creations, primarily medieval and Renaissance's works, being romanticized and symbolically perceived as divine wisdom united to the political power. The idea of their union has been romanticized by many authors, artists, and poets of later times as a symbolic fusion of wisdom, prosperity, and divine blessing. Their relationship was more than political or economic cooperation. It was seen as a divine or fated connection between two powerful rulers from different parts of the ancient world. This romanticized telling of the union between the Queen of Sheba and Solomon has cropped up repeatedly in many literature and artistic traditions. For instance, the Bible's Song of Solomon is oftentimes understood to be a metaphor for the love between Christ and the Church, but has also been associated with the Queen of Sheba's love relationship with King Solomon. Their meeting and symbolic union have been romanticized in many medieval and Renaissance paintings, poetry, and literature, symbolizing the meeting of two great civilizations and their exchange of knowledge and culture. The Queen of Sheba has been a very intriguing figure down the ages, both in religious and secular contexts, into art, literature, and music. Through the modern interpretive lens, her story finds its place within discourses on female empowerment, intelligence, and political agency. A head of state capable of negotiating the intrigues of the ancient world's diplomacy and commerce, she came to stand in the main for wisdom, wealth, and capabilities that women bring with them into statesmanship. The Queen of Sheba has remained an inspiring subject for many modern authors, artists, and musicians. From epic poems to modern plays, her story often serves as an example for reasoning out wisdom, leadership, and cross-cultural exchange. Her visit to King Solomon has been captured by numerous artists, showcasing the grandeur and intelligence of this woman who came from the rich, intensive kingdom of Arabia. The Queen of Sheba also appears in modern music, classical compositions, and jazz, where she is often popularly symbolized as a thing of opulence, beauty, and intellectual prowess. Her legacy continues to inspire contemporary creators across various artistic disciplines. The Queen of Sheba's legacy continues to resonate today, especially in Ethiopia, where she is regarded as a central figure in the country's religious and royal heritage. The claim that her son, Menelik I, brought the Ark of the Covenant to Ethiopia remains a key part of Ethiopian Orthodox Christianity, symbolizing the close connection between Ethiopia and the biblical world. Elsewhere in the world, the Queen of Sheba has been celebrated as a symbol of diplomacy, wealth, and wisdom. Her visit to Solomon remains the powerful narrative about the exchange of knowledge and cultural connections between powerful rulers. The Queen of Sheba has remained one of ancient history's most tantalizing and continuous subjects. Her story, altogether, stands to explain diplomacy, wisdom, wealth, and women's power in leadership. Be she thought of as historical, legendary, or a mere symbolic queen to have engaged cultures in exchange, the Queen of Sheba lives on, timelessly an icon to the world. Please like, share, turn on the notification button, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating historical documentaries.
If you like this video, give this video a like, comment, share to help others, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. A candle loses nothing if it is used to light other candles. Thanks for watching. Tales and Facts World.